Welcome to Change. I'm Bonnie Carlin from the Senior Cafe at the Barn in Schaumburg, and today we'll be talking about diversity in our community. Some of my favorite memories as a child were listening to my grandmother's stories of her life in the old country and her dangerous journey to get to America. Imagine packing up your belongings and traveling to a faraway land, a land where people are different, speak different languages, and different customs are practiced. What a courageous people our ancestors were. Well, the story of America's melting pot is not over yet. There are still many fine men and women and children coming to this great nation from all faraway lands in search of opportunities and a good life. And after all, our strength is in our differences. In the past 20 years, the village of Schaumburg has become indeed an international village, and with many races, religions, and traditions, and it is a great place to live, work, and enjoy life. We'll be doing something a little different today. Besides our panel, we have Schaumburg residents in the audience taking a part in a town hall style meeting. But before we begin, let me introduce the members of our panel. First, Dan Christensen, who is the Targeted Ethnic Programs Specialist from Age Options. Stephanie Cernoff, Director of the Schaumburg Township District Library. And Matt Frank, Community Development from the Village of Schaumburg. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. I think we'll open up the floor with Dan. And can you tell us a little bit about Age Options?
Certainly. Thank you for inviting me. Age Options is an area agency on aging. These are organizations that are chartered by the Older Americans Act and Title III, which is basically funding for senior services. There is an area agency on aging in almost every part of the country. And what we do is we receive funding, which is mostly federal, but there's also state funding. And we transfer that funding to appropriate service providers in the community. Age Options covers all of suburban Cook County. So we fund services in the north, in Schaumburg, in Niles, in Evanston, in the west, Stickney, Norridge, Elk Grove, and in the south, Calumet and Harvey. So generally, most of the area, as much of the area as we can, we provide these services. These services are a lot of meal programs, whether they're congregate meal programs. One here in Schaumburg at the Barn is funded by Age Options. We also have a lot of home delivered meal programs, as many as we can. We provide funding for chore services for seniors who can't take care of their housekeeping as much as they used to. We provide respite to help caregivers get out of the house or to do things that they can't do. We fund some transportation. We fund some assistance for caregivers themselves. So we have a wide range of programs targeted towards seniors or those who help them. And that basically, as I said, covers all of suburban Cook County. Issues as seniors that other people may not have. Many of them are, for instance, are language issues, particularly people that have come to this country more recently. And so if they're a senior, it's hard for them because they don't necessarily get out a lot. They don't know who to interact with. So what we've done is to create programs that are kind of aimed at particular cultural nodes, bringing together people, for instance, in a Korean community, bringing those people together into a senior service. People who are Assyrian. We work with a couple of Assyrian churches in the north side. We have a program for South Asian people in Niles, Metropolitan Asian Family Services. We provide services for the Chinese population in Streamwood, and we also have a Korean program in Mount Prospect, and other groups. We have Latino services in Melrose Park. So these are programs that allow people who don't know the language and haven't had much exposure to American culture to come in and hear a familiar word, to have an experience that's that they can relate to without necessarily having been in this country for 2 or 3 generations. And they're very popular because they help people connect so much with what they're familiar with. And we have those in a lot of different places. So we're very interested, and we want to keep doing this. It's worked very well for us.
Now, do you have people that are versed in the language of each community that can go in there?
Well, they are of that community in many ways.
Yes.
We also try to provide diversity in our other service centers. So we frequently have people who will speak Spanish or speak Polish or speak Russian. There are a lot of people on our side that are newly migrated from Russia. And that's another issue. So we constantly have to evaluate our planning on a regular basis so that we know that we're targeting those groups that are emerging as needing the most help. And there are a lot of them. This is a very, very diverse county.
And what services generally do they require?
Well, there's one of the services that's very, very popular and necessary is just helping them get connected. We have a program that the most common, it's called Senior Opportunities and Services. And these programs have people who speak the language, who generally are of the culture, and they know how to take someone and get them to some place where they need to go. Whether that's a health service or whether it's getting signed up for some kind of benefit they need, some kind of senior service that that provider may not have, but some other party does. Sometimes you have a couple that needs assistance in caregiving, some assistance in respite care, or there may be a housekeeping issue, or there may be a temporary health issue that needs to be addressed. It may be transportation to medical appointments or things like that. So somebody that can cut through the hoops that you have to jump through, and they know the language, and they can get the person where they need to go. Because obviously many of these people, if they don't have enough language skills, they find it very hard to move around. It's really, really hard. So that's the best thing we do right at the front, is to get them where they need to go. And
transportation needs as well?
We generally fund transportation where we can. It is very, very difficult to satisfy the need. We use as many public resources as we can. It's always short.
So if someone wanted to contact your office or ask for services, how would they get in touch with Age Options?
Well, they can always call us. That's the easy way to do it. You can call us at 708-383-0258. Our reception basically is trained to refer to the people that we have waiting for your call. And we have somebody waiting for your call every day while we're open, and we will take the messages after that time and then return them.
You've not mentioned the age for a senior?
60 plus.
60 plus. I know in some places it's as young as 55.
Well, let me say this. If we're helping a caregiver, that person could be under 60. And that is frequently the case. The caregiver may be a spouse, but it could also be a son or a daughter, or.
Is there funding from your programs to help provide English being able to learn English?
Generally, we don't have we don't have programs that teach English, but we have we fund providers who teach English. Okay, we fund probably over 40 agencies, and many of them are senior centers and other places like that, and they do have connections where they do fund ESL.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a question, and thank you very much for sharing all these informations. Most of the information I was not aware of it.
Right.
I'm the first generation, you can guess with my accent. So my mother is, of course, she is completely, she don't know the English at all.
Right.
Most of the time we run into the problem when she have a medical appointments.
Right.
One of us have to take day off. Of course, she can use the public transport, but she have the language barrier.
Right.
So these kind of transportation you were talking about, how we can get the benefit of that kind of advantage that she can have the some appointments, if she has some appointments, so she can take advantage of those kind of transportation, or we can help her in that manner.
It's hard to say specifically. I'm not aware of all of the transportation resources in this community. I can say that we have a couple of what are called comprehensive care units in this area. We have one in Elk Grove, and we have one at the North Shore Senior Center that's in Northfield. And then we also have one that's in Arlington Heights, excuse me. Which is Catholic Charities Northwest. These are agencies that provide a range of services. They provide the case management, and if they have transportation, they have that. They provide respite and chore services and frequently meal services. So they are the ones that really know where these resources are. And I would be happy to provide numbers for those organizations, because they're the people that we fund to reach out to you. And if you want to make a connection, I can show you how to do that.